are now tuned in to my main man Dubs. If you want that garbage, go somewhere else. If you want that music that matters, he came to the right spot. Hey Dub, talk to him.
This is not for the weak-hearted. Ever since the beat started, the flow switched up from...
The only real man over at PBC is Deontay Wilder. You want to know why? Because he's going to be fighting Tyson Fury in February. Now, you guys over there, all the other welterweights over there, this man is begging to fight you. And he's going to continue to beg to fight you guys. Guys need to put your big boy pants on and need to come over and make this fight with Terence Crawford because he's the best welterweight in the world.
I just say it's all of you guys that's feeding the people that wrong side of the street. There's no such thing as a wrong side of the street in the sport of boxing.
Those are the words of Timothy Bradley, followed by Terence Beard Crawford. Yes, that's right, Beard Crawford. That's what we call him over here on this side of the street. And ironically, speaking of this side of the street, Terence Crawford addressed everyone that there is not a such thing. The person that made that up is the person that is alluding and making that a smokescreen or an obstacle or barrier for a potential fight. And his name is Errol Spence. Speaking of Errol Spence, he reacted not to Terence Crawford's win over Mean Machine, but to Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley, he called and he simply said, Timothy Bradley, shut your coon ass up. And that's supposed to refer to whatever, like that Timothy Bradley's on ESPN. And because he's speaking against the PBC, and the PBC are mostly black-based fighters, or the fighters that are over there on that side of the street. And you have you have Manny Pacquiao, which is unified. Then you have Errol Spence. Then you have Terence Crawford. You only have three. And I guess because Timothy Bradley was speaking his mind and telling these guys to get off their asses, grab put the big boy pants on and fight Terence Crawford because he's begging for a fight with you guys. And those guys over there on the PBC side has been ignoring the WBO like it doesn't exist. I don't see why Errol Spence would bring or say such a derogatory thing and bring race into it. If you ever want to create a smokescreen or make someone ignore what the point is, add race to it. Pull the race card. That's what's happening in this situation. See, Errol Spence hasn't been even seen. This is actually his third post, and it was about Timothy Bradley. You remember his second was, I give up, with a sad crying emoji or some shit like that. And then the first one was, hey, no broken bones, I'm a savage. Remember that, which he took down. So I'm not really understanding Errol Spence. He didn't congratulate anyone. He didn't say anything about Terence Crawford's fight at all. But he did respond to Timothy Bradley because Timothy Bradley was speaking his mind on these guys fighting. And Terence Crawford sealed the deal with saying there is no side of the street. But who made that up? Errol Spence. Errol Spence made that term up because he was stating that since Terence Crawford is on ESPN, he won't fight him because of that. Like ESPN's money's not green. Like Al Heyman can't work with ESPN like he's doing with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. It makes no sense. He did the same thing with Showtime and HBO with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. I don't even know if he was involved in that, but I know that was an HBO show versus in a Showtime network, and they got together. So I don't see, it doesn't even hold weight. And we look at the last 20 years of boxing and how networks, if they wanted to have two fighters fight, they fought regardless of what. Felix Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya is another one. Remember, Trinidad used to fight on Showtime. He started fighting on HBO, but that had nothing to do with those guys fighting at all. So for Errol Spence to try to pretend like Al Heyman or trying to do someone's job is ludicrous. You know, Errol Spence should worry about Errol Spence. He should worry about his fighting. He shouldn't worry about promotional companies and networks. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about Fox, Showtime, ESPN, DAZN. Don't worry about any of that. And don't pick sides if you're a prize fighter. You go where the money flows. Go where the money flows. If that's the case, I know, and I defended Errol Spence in recess because I think he should be in recess because we don't know what's going on with him. Whatever's going on with him, he ain't fighting. And he ain't saying that he'll fight. Other people saying that he will fight, but he's not saying it himself, right? But for him to make a statement about Timothy Bradley, you know, if he feels a certain type of way about it, don't just pop and cap shit. We're tired of hearing that. You know, that's all you hear on the PBC side. You don't never hear them talking about, okay, let's get a fight made. You're always talking about them saying either we wanted this or I ain't fighting over there or I can't go over here because I'm obligated to this. That's bullshit. Let's just stop that. You know what I mean? Like those guys act like they had a long, lengthy contract with PBC. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't even matter. And Errol Spence supposed to have his own promotional company. Remember that? We don't hear about Man Down Promotions no more, do we? Adrian Broner has his own promotional company because you have it. You see it on the banner. Okay. That he is a promotional, he has his own promotional company. Not Errol Spence. That's just something that sounds good for the sake of saying I have a promotional company. But for Errol Spence to say, hey, shut your coon ass up, Timothy Bradley, he's just pulling the race card because he doesn't like what he hears. And Timothy Bradley obviously saying something that's kind of getting under his skin a bit, enough to make a response like that. Now, all the things he could have responded, hey, are you coming back to the sport of boxing, champ? Are you feeling okay, champ? Show your fucking face, champ. You're going to respond with that. So obviously, it tells me that Timothy Bradley's doing something that's getting under Errol Spence's skin enough for him to respond the way he did. That's my counterpunch on that. You guys tell me what you think about Errol Spence's tweet. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.